Hello, this is Comics and Me. I decided I wanted to do something different today in terms of discussing something. So I got this comic from a comic book store in Fort Lauderdale. It was a bit of a drive. And I found this comic. It was on sale for $3. And it was Catwoman Defiant. I got it because I'm I don't know, I don't really have a Catwoman book, mostly because she's not really my favorite character. I don't really have an interest in the character. But sometimes I have an interest in older stuff, and I, for some reason, thought that this was an Elseworld. But 2 days ago, I decided to read the back. And it was talking about her first appearance, or her first debut, and that this is actually her first original graphic novel. So I accidentally got the first original graphic novel of Catwoman. What I found interesting is that I was doing a review with a friend of mine in YouTube for the movie Catwoman, the 2004, with Halle Berry, and how much of a dumpster fire it is. So I wanted to, after I read this comic after I saw the movie, after I did the review with her and everything. And so when I was reading the comic, there were so much similarities to the actual movie. In this entire plot of the comic is about beauty, and that's similar to the movie, or the movie is similar to this comic because this one came out first, because in the Catwoman movie she works at some sort of beauty place where she's she does the artistic designs, the graphic design of the company for this cream product. But it turns out that cream product is actually bad for your skin, and it just makes you look ugly. So this entire in this entire comic, it is a man who collects beautiful things like jewelry and stuff, right? But after his wife died, he steals beautiful things, but then he destroys them, because to him nothing else is beautiful. And there is, in this one, except the only mostly the difference is that in this comic Batman is present. It is in Gotham, and she is Selena Kyle, not Patience Phillips. No weird cat powers or anything. I will say that there is some weird stuff in here, Catwoman's face is considered peaches and cream, but I'm she's so dark. She's rather just a really, really tan white woman. Or she is definitely a darker skinned woman, but I don't know. The peaches and cream face just doesn't fit. Batman's lighter than her. Well, no, he's not actually. So he's actually around the same color as she is. So I guess that's just the artistic design. They're just both tanned white people. And so the person trying to capture her is named Mr. Handsome. And you know how they got henchmen and all that stuff? So the henchmen are called models, which I found pretty funny. So they all wear these masks and everything. Obviously this is a spoiler review. And I just wanted to compare it to the movie because it's just so similar, especially when you start reading more into it. He finally captures her. But before he captures her, he has video surveillance cameras everywhere. I don't know if he has them everywhere, because, like, like, there's this part over here where he's talking about her body, and, like, you see a butt shot, boob shot, another butt shot. Over here, she's, like, spreading her legs, like, and you're on the roof. I don't know what you have to do on the roof to somehow be in that position. Like, I don't know, maybe you tripped somewhere or something. Though this comic does show a lot of that. A lot of that. And to the point I was like, you're super uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't need to see that. But it's a Catwoman book, so I don't know what I expected. So she, like, teams up with Batman. At first she doesn't want to do it, but he's like, yeah, no, you're teaming up with me, that or go to jail. And she's like, yeah, sure. And there's this thing where, like, they make a plan, and so she has to be, like, bait while he gives her a communicator. One thing I found, like, super funny is that she sees a cat. This cat guides her to this house, and she literally just takes his money. And he's like, you stole something? And she's like, no, why would I? And he's like, yeah, you stole something, give it back. He's like, give it to me and I'll give it back. And she's like, oh yeah, I stuck it in my clothes, you know, in the front part, you know, for safekeeping. She's like, you want to take it? And he's like, yeah, whatever, let's go. And I'm like, nah, bro, you should have put your hand down in there and then slapped her on the face. Be like, what? Don't try me again. So mean. Right, so she gets captured by Mr. Handsome. Apparently he has this monster that he bought in the Philippines. Like, it's a man monster. Sorry, adjusting my glasses. And, like, he feeds that thing dogs or beautiful people. And so I feel super bad, because that monster needs to be put down out of his misery and everything. Oh, so she's about to get eaten. This monster has, like, an eye. And then you see a person down there, which, like, you need a specific way to get up, and that's through the elevator. But the elevator is, like, it's one of those elevators where you yourself can't get to the top. Like, somebody already on the top has to, like, pull a lever or push a button to do it for you to get back up there. So she was, like, kind of trapped. This person comes out with a fire stick and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna help you. And oh yeah, okay, so they kind of, like, introduce each other, like, hi, I'm Selena, hi, I'm Mary. And Mary is the wife's name of the guy who killed her. And she was like, oh, you're not dead? And she's like, no, I pretended to die. I've been living here all my life. Like, not gonna lie, the face is a little bit mannish, like, got some really thick hands and everything. But apparently she's just, like, very, very old. So, she said that her reasoning that he wanted her to die was because, she got older. And so she tried to make herself look young as much as she could, but she couldn't. And she was like, oh, he loved beautiful women, but only beautiful women, feminine women. And so she's like, you know, I got the wrinkles, I got the saggy skin, they're like a beast, you know. And so because of this, he, like, cheated on her multiple times with, like, younger women and just threw her away, which was kind of sad, which again is very similar to the movie, because in the movie there was a woman who is aging who's, like, the partner of the guy who owns the company. Like, they're married, but like she kept getting older, and so he started having less interest in her, despite her looking very good for her age. But she was like, you know, when you get to a certain age, they start to like throw you away and all that stuff. So Batman's like on the search for her. So after she saves Selina, Mary saves Selina, Mary tells Selina, hey, when you get up there, I need you to kill my husband. And there was a very interesting conversation between the two, where she's like, sorry, I'm not a murderer, I'm not gonna do that. Like, stealing is one thing, but being a killer, that's like something else completely. So she's like, listen, I don't want to do it, like, I hate the guy, but I'm not gonna do something like that drastic. And she's like trying to convince her as much as she can. So, but she's like, sorry, no. And she's like, who knows, maybe you'll change your mind. And so like they do try to, there's a hole, and so they have to like what's it called, Cusco's New Groove. They gotta do the Cusco's New Groove part. Even though like Cusco's New Groove like came way after this. Apparently they had no problem drawing nipples through her outfit. Not gonna lie, this outfit's kind of interesting. Like, it seems like a one piece, but it's like, it's supposed to be black, not gray or blue or whatever this color scheme is. This girl got nice sneakers, really good sneakers. And so I still don't know if this was her plan or not, but their plan was like, okay, so we gotta get to like the top. And she's like, well, how do we get to the top now? Because they made it all the way up. And she's like, oh, I didn't think that far. And so they're like, oh, I got this, I'll jump and then I'll spin around. And I'm like, oh, that's not gonna work. So of course it doesn't, and she ends up like holding on to Selina's leg. And of course I'm like, okay, I'm like, yeah, she's like gonna die. And so she's like, you know, do it. She's like, I need you to kill my husband. Do it for me. Do it for us. Do it for all the women in the world. Blah blah blah. So Mary falls. Poor Mary. And so, of course, she's like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then, and so I like how she grabs the gun and just slaps him with it. That's hilarious. Don't worry, that's not him. That's like one of the models. So this Mr. Handsome guy, he wears a mask. Don't know why. And they said like his voice is like, his throat, sorry, is pretty messed up. So like they're like, oh, he's never been the same, that kind of stuff. And so Mary, before she lets go of Selina, adjusting my glasses again, she says this thing where it's like, just kill him and then take off the mask. Like, don't take off the mask before, don't take off the mask and then kill him. Do it after, specifically do it after. And I'm like, why? why does that matter? And so Selina obviously doesn't follow the rules. Like, she's like, you know, take it off. He's like, no. And then, you know, I don't know what this is here. Like, he has clearly brown hair, but the hair looks blonde. And so, like, she's like, oh my god. And I'm like, wait, is he like ugly and old and stuff? And she's like, the Beast. I'm like, the Beast? How did the Beast get from down there to up here? And it turns out Mary was Mr. Handsome. She really does look guyish. I would have never known. And she's like, I like how she's like the Beast, and she, you know, Mary is the Beast because the Beast inside of her is now out. Like that she's been doing all this stuff. And she was like, you know, I did so many things. Like I did plastic surgery. I visited like dermatologists. stuff like that. Like, she was like, you know, no matter what I did, like, I was just still ugly. That my husband didn't want me, so I killed him before he killed me. And so I guess, like, she wanted somebody beautiful to kill her, which was like her last wish. And something happens, they both fall, the beast is like going there to like try and kill him. And she's just telling her, she's like, hey, you know how I did this, you know how I did this? And Selena's like, I don't care, I just want to leave. Help me out. And she's like, no, we're just gonna die. I'm just gonna let us both die. And it's like, you feel bad for her as a woman, but then you're like, the way you did things, you should not have done it. And it's like, you know, like, the ends don't justify the means, that kind of thing. Like, in the movie, she also, the main villain, female villain, also kills her husband. Because she's like, whatever, you think I'm useless, I'll kill you. Except that the husband here, Mr. Handsome, the real husband, he seemed like an actual villain, like a crook, while the other guy in the Catwoman movie seemed pretty spineless. And then here's what the beast looks like. I know, ugly, disgusting. And so I don't remember how they got out, but they both got out, and she's like, okay, here, beast, and like, eat this woman, I don't care anymore. And then she actually gets angry. She's like, no, I want to be killed by somebody beautiful, not by somebody ugly. And I'm like, really? You want to die so badly, but only by a beautiful person. And so Batman, like, super late, was like, hey, I'm here. And she's like, yeah, it took you long enough. He's like, okay, where's everybody? And and Selena's like, yeah, just go through this door, and then you'll find them. And then he's like, okay. So she led him to a trap. So she made Batman fight the Beast, and I guess help save Mary. And it made him get an injured arm because of it, and I guess a bent bat ear. And so it's kind of weird. I'm glad Mary wasn't hurt, but like, at least she can go to jail. And for the monster, I have no idea what the heck they're gonna be doing to that thing. But like, that monster is like, looks like he's in pain, and he should probably put down. And then he just smiles because he was tricked and that she was completely fine. I'm like, really? What? And so Mr. Handsome has this like mirror. And so, you know, she stole it. And so the comic ends with just like her doing her usual, which is stealing stuff, which is Catwoman, you know? I just found this super interesting and super comparable to the movie, because I'm like, we could have gotten something like this with Halle Berry instead of the movie that we got. Like, I understand what they were trying to do with the plot, but you didn't have to change Catwoman, Selena Kyle, into Patience Phillips for any reason at all, or like add this whole mystical cat stuff. I mean, the Egyptian Mal thing was like pretty cool, not gonna lie, but like it's not a good movie. And something like this, which is insanely comparable, like this could have been done instead. Like, you get a cameo from Batman, you have the plot of beauty, what it does to people, and all that stuff. Because the side characters in the Catwoman movie, as much as I liked Sally, they don't really add anything at all to the plot. Like, they could have gotten us something else similar to this at least, and we wouldn't have had the basketball scene. That terrible basketball scene. I hate that basketball scene. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this is like what I wanted to talk about. I'm like, yo, this could have been the movie that we got instead. Focuses on beauty, talks about women's struggles and beauty as they get older. You know, it could have been played by the same woman too. Like, she doesn't have to be as old as the one in this comic, but she could have been like very similar. like just switch people. And the guy that what's it called, Patience Phillips had a crush on, like that cop guy, he could have been Batman, like temporarily, like a cameo, because Batman is not shown in like a lot in this comic, just like here and there, and you know, could have been temporary. But like, this is what I wanted to talk about. I really liked this comic, but you know, in this one it shows Catwoman being Catwoman in the end. So like, that's it, just be Catwoman in the end, steal stuff, you know, that's Catwoman's way. Honestly, most likely the reason why I just don't like this character at all. Like, so many reasons why I don't like this character. But yeah, hope you have a nice day or a nice night, afternoon, wherever the heck you are, and make sure to like the video. Bye bye.